Good afternoon. I'll be right with you. As always, I need to make sure that Facebook let me go live, and it looks like we are good to go. Looks like my screen or my camera is a little crooked. Actually, it's my camera. And as always, if I try to fix this, let's see. See, I always do the opposite of which way it needs to go. That's a little better. I'm not going to fool with it anymore. So good afternoon, Carol Buckalew with Inky Bee Stampers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I have a pretty little card for you. This is for a sketch challenge for tomorrow's Happy Ink and Thursday blog hop. So if you visit my blog tomorrow at inkybeestampers.com, you'll be able to follow the hop and get lots more inspiration from some of my team members. So I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the blog hop. So today's card uses the Lily Pond Lane suite of products. And I did a video using this suite 2 weeks ago. And that's been posted on Facebook and YouTube. And it is just, so you can either go with cutesy with the little ducks and the frogs, or you can go pretty, like this card is, just using the beautiful paper. And hey, Rosie, thanks so much for joining. So I've used the Lily Pond Lane 6x6 Designer Series paper. And I'm not going to share all these papers with you right this moment, but you know, you can see the cute little ducks, right? And the lily pads and cattails. And so, like I said, you can go cute with this set, or you can, you know, choose another pattern paper. This is actually one of my favorites here. This one is really pretty too. And I just love these colors together. So this paper has in it Balmy Blue, Granny Apple Green, Gray Granite, Peach Pie, Pretty Peacock, and Pretty in Pink. So there are 2 of our new colors included on this paper, and it's just so pretty. And then, of course, I'm using the Charming Duck Pond bundle, stamp set, and dies. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Rosie, it actually feels like it's spring or summer here today. We're actually up to 82 degrees, which is like huge for us because it's been so rainy and miserable. All right, I'm just going to grab a scratch piece of paper here, and we'll get a little bit of stamping done. So my sentiment label on the card front is actually a piece of the Designer Series paper, and it's Pretty in Pink, and it's got, I know it's hard to catch on the camera. Hey, Tara Beth, thanks so much for joining. Girl, how'd you get off today? 60 degrees, but you know what? That's nice, Rosie. 60, I think, is perfect. Hey, Faith, thanks for joining. But anyway, so this is Designer Series paper. It's got kind of a dotted pattern in the background. It's hard to see on the camera, and I just realized, I think my lighting is up all the way. But anyway, I'm going to stamp the sentiment on this little piece of Designer Series paper, and we are going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. Pretty Peacock is one of my all-time favorite colors. And our sentiment says, "You make me happy." I'm calling this a note card because I think it could be, but it also could be a friendship card. You could make it into a birthday card by stamping an additional sentiment on the inside. So whatever makes you happy, right? Like our sentiment says. And hopefully I can get this straight. Sometimes I think my eyeballs don't see so good, even though I wear glasses already. All right, let's see how that looks. That looks perfect, actually. We're going to take that. And then this is my inside panel. And I'm going to keep that ink open for just a moment. And I'm going to get out some Granny Apple Green ink. And from the Charming Duck Pond stamp set, I'm going to stamp the Cattail Greenery on either side of my inside panel and the envelope front. And I'm going to kind of just angle it out here, like that. And we're going to do one over here. I want to make sure I get those cattails in there. They're so pretty. Alrighty, that is the grass. Let me get the envelope front while I'm doing Granny Apple Green. Hey Mary, thanks so much for joining. And we're going to put cattails here on our envelope front and right about there. All right, that is it with the green. I'm going to close that up. I think I'm done with that. And I'm going to get out some Pebble Path. Now, this is not one of the colors in the paper, but it goes nicely. And cattails generally are very dark. And I did use the cattails on my card 2 weeks ago. Let me just pull this toward me. This is a fairly easy two-step stamp, meaning that you stamp one image and then you follow up with the second image to complete it. And for the cattails, if you just line up the tops and stems, it's pretty easy to stamp. And you know what? If it's not perfect, it's very forgiving. All right, that is our envelope. And let me make sure I'm dipping back in the correct ink here. And then I'm going to stamp our cattails here on the inside panel. All right, and let's get this other side here. I'm just trying not to cut off the little tops of the cattails. Okay, that looks good to me. So we can put Pebble Path away. And I still have my pretty peacock out. And this is just a little lily pad. And I'm going to stamp this lily pad a couple of times at the base of my cattails here on my envelope. And I'm not going to worry about overlapping the grass on the cattails because honestly you don't really see it all that much. If you stamp over it, it looks fine. And that is our envelope complete. And let's get our inside panel. And then we can put our card together. Fairly simple card. And I am just going to stamp this lily pad here a couple of times around our cattails. And just kind of turn the stamp as I go. And that looks good to me. So that actually is the inside panel done. So as I mentioned, this card is for a blog hop tomorrow, the Happy Inkin' Thursday blog hop. So be sure to check that out. Let me grab my card pieces. And we can kind of start gluing up. And let me get rid of this scrap paper. So, as I mentioned, so this is my sample card here. I've got a pretty in pink, I have a peach pie card base, just a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. Well, thank you, Mary. And then I've got a pretty peacock mat, and then this pretty paper from the Lily Pond Lane Designer Series paper for my card front. And let's go ahead and get that glued up. I love this set. I love this suite. You know, you can go cute or pretty, and I just think that makes for a really, really great suite. Oh, Stampin' Storage is asking for cards with blank insides for nursing home residents. Perfect, yeah. That's, I do donate a lot of my cards to a local hospital for the chronically ill, meaning that the people that are the residents of that hospital, there's about 100 of them, they have no family. You know, they don't have anybody to visit them or send them anything. And so years ago, a lady that I worked with started this volunteer initiative to provide cards each month to the hospital. And we do all the holidays, and the residents are so appreciative, and they will start asking, when are we going to get cards again, you know, and they get them every month. But we cover all the holidays, and I've got a whole stack of Father's Day cards, and I'm going to be meeting up with my friend this Friday to get those cards to her. She delivers them to the hospital. So it's just, yeah, it's a nice thing to do if you can donate your cards. Okay, we have a second print here from the Lily Pond Lane designer series paper, and this one is in Pretty Peacock with kind of a dotted design. And again, I'm going to mat this up to Pretty Peacock. But with, you know, especially if you have a blog, like you make a lot of cards, and you know, they just accumulate. And I only do one craft show a year. And maybe I ought to think about doing more, but I haven't. You know, so it's good to be able to send those cards off to someone who will appreciate them. All right, so that is our front panel, and we are going to pop this panel up onto the card front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I hope I don't go over today. I did last week, and I hate to do that. I hate to keep you guys too long. Get some dimensionals on here. Wasn't sure that one stuck, but I think we're good. And then I am going to just line up the top edge of this. I've got to pull this to me just so I can see it. I'm going to line up the reveal on the top edge of this panel to the reveal on the top of my card. And I'm just centering my panel on my grid paper because that will help me make sure I get it centered and hopefully straight. And I'm not going to press that down completely, but that looks like I got it pretty good. Actually, let me just slide it over here. I got a little too far to the, I'm sorry, I need to pull this to me more. I just can't do it without pulling it towards me more. Yeah, I had it a little far over to the right, but that looks centered a little better. Maybe. Just scooch that end up. There we go. Okay. Now we're good. All right. Let me go ahead and get my sentiment label matted up. You got this paper for Prize Patrol, but you didn't really like the set. Yeah, Rosie, you know, I always like the B-sides of the paper. I like the designer series paper. It's all beautiful in my opinion, but the B-sides are often really great to use for like backgrounds on your card fronts. And now this paper, this was a background, but this floral paper was one of the primary prints. You know, but if you're like, but what I like about this set is you can make it cute or pretty, either one. I said that already. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's true, you know. Like if you need a kid's birthday card, the little ducks are adorable, and the frogs, and there's koi, there's fish. So, you know. All right, we are going to go ahead and let me think here. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me bring in my die cuts. I already die cut some pieces out. And using the Charming Duck Pond dies. And I reviewed those a couple of weeks ago. But the cattails, cut 2 at a time. So I've got extras in here. And I cut my cattails in Granny Apple Green. And then and then one die cuts 3 lily pads at one time. It separates one of them and it keeps 2 together. And then I cut 2 of the flowers in Pretty in Pink. And then I cut the 2 flower centers in peach pie. And I must have a little bit of glue on my tweezers because the cardstock is sitting with them. So this die cuts out 2 flowers at one time, and then another die cuts out the 2 centers at one time. So that works out really good. Let me cut my glue here for just a moment. I'm going to bring my scrap paper back in, move my little pieces out of the way here. So for this cattail, I die cut it in Granny Apple Green, and this is a Pebble Path Stampin' Blend, and all I'm going to do is come in here and color the cattails over the green, and that works out just fine. Make sure you're getting the sides of your cardstock when you're coloring. So in other words, I'm coloring this with Pebble Path. I don't want the sides to show up as Granny Apple Green. And there we go. And it's that easy. And we can put that away, and we can put this away. And before I put my sentiment label on, I am going to go ahead and glue up my my cattails and one of the single lily pad onto my card front, because I want that kind of tucked under. Whoops. Helps if you take the lid off the glue. Yeah, Mary, you do. You need to use this set. It is, I already have an idea for another card for using this set. I love it that much. I usually go for the real flowery stuff, but this one just kind of captured my attention, and I think it's because of I don't know why, the cattails and the kind of the whole pond thing going on, and it's just so stinking cute. All right, my sentiment label is going to sit about here, and so I want that lily pad to sit kind of high. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave my sentiment label in place. Ugh, that was a lot of glue. Didn't need that much glue. But I'm going to kind of set that there. And these die cuts have kind of holes cut through them. Not holes, but little ridges. And so you have to be careful. If your glue seeps out, you want to keep an eye on that. All right, we can go ahead and put our sentiment label on. And because this is popped up with dimensionals, I only want to put one dimensional here on the left side of my sentiment label. Like that. Get the cover off, and then I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here down the center of that label, just to kind of help hold it in place. I'm going to bring this to me so I can attempt to get this sentiment on straight. And that looks pretty good. Alrighty. And then we can just assemble our little flowers here. So when I originally made my card, I just lost the flower, there it is. So when I originally made my card, I have the flower petals pointing downwards. And I would say, I've been calling these lilies, but I think they're actually like lotus flowers. And if you look at the paper, the lotus flowers are actually, the petals are pointing upwards. So for this card, and I think if it's an older blossom, it's possible that they're pointing down. But for this card, I'm going to go ahead and have my petals pointing up. And I'm just going to add a dot of glue there to the centers, just a tiny bit. And we'll go ahead and put the flower centers on the cards. And I'm going to drop that flower center down just a tad, if it'll stop sliding around on me. There we go. Pebble Path has become one of my favorite go-to neutrals Faith. I really love it. It's a brownish gray. It's like perfect for so many. It's great for stamping images if you don't want the harsh black of a stamped image. You know, Pebble Path is a great option. All right, now we are going to put our little lotus flowers on the lily pads. So I'll just add a drop of glue to the back. And we're going to put one there. And the other one will go, and I'm going to angle this one out a little bit just to kind of mix it up. So we've got that on our, got the flowers on the lily pads. And I am going to pop these up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And these are half Stampin' Dimensionals. And you don't really need a whole lot. 2 should do it. And hopefully that won't interfere with my sentiment label. But because the label is flat, actually I think that's perfect. So we'll go with that. Oh, the doggies just came in. I hear them panting. They do not like the heat, those dogs. And we're going to just kind of drop the bottom of those lily pads off the edge of this panel here, just slightly. And that gives it some nice dimension. All right, let me see here. What do we need to do next? We can go ahead and adhere our inside panel to a mat. I think I just got heavy-handed with the glue. What I have discovered when using glue on inside panels is not to press down too hard. If you press down too hard, you'll see the line of glue. Actually, I can still see the line of glue. Forget what I just said. Finn feels the same way in the heat, Mary. Yeah, I'm sure he does. He's got a lot of air, that dog. Our dogs have thick coats, and well, Finn is double coated like our dogs are. Yeah, and the double coats actually help them. So in the wintertime, that double coat helps keep them warm, and in the summertime, a double coated dog, you know, the double coat helps to keep them cooler. Which is something I learned, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, there we go. And I see a little fuzz on my cardstock, on my mat, and I'm just going to run my tweezers along there. And it doesn't want to... I'm just trying to tuck that little stray fuzz underneath. And so that is the inside of our card. Let's finish up. While I've got the glue out, I'm going to go ahead and put my flap on. Well, thank you, Rosie. He wishes he had a zipper to unzip his coat. Is that what you're saying, Mary? That'd be handy, huh? We actually have, well, no, we don't have one anymore. We need to get one. We used to keep a kiddie pool for the dogs. And they love, well, Maisie loves jumping in and out of the kiddie pool. Mackenzie will jump in once, and then she's done. And Maisie loves if you spray her with the hose. Like, we don't put it on strong. We just, you know, we just put it on gentle, like a mist. And she loves it. Mackenzie, she doesn't want water in her face. But we will get her wet just to cool her off. And then we leave her alone. But yeah, she's not real fond of the water, Mackenzie. But Maisie loves it all day long. Loves it, loves it. She gets so excited when we would get her pool out. But we need to get another one. It kind of fell apart. So we need to get another little wading pool for them. They actually make one now for dogs. I've just been waiting for the price to come down because they're pricey. But it's collapsible. It's almost like a canvas that's been treated, you know, with like a plastic or something, or vinyl, and it has a collapsible frame, so it doesn't take up a lot of space to store it. That was always kind of our issue, like where to store this big blue kiddie pool. It's kind of an eyesore, a little bit. All right, we are almost done here. Got the envelope done. I'm going to take some baker's twine from the 3-color pack, and this pinkish color is Flirty Flamingo. And let me tell you what, you would be hard-pressed to, you know, that thread matches that Pretty in Pink pretty doggone well. I am going to tie a very small bow, and we'll see how I do, because baker's twine can be so frustrating. It likes to twist. Like the linen thread doesn't really twist, but the baker's twine, like I'm trying to make my little bow here, and it's wanting to twist on me right away. Let's see how I do. So you really kind of need to manhandle the thread, because it always, wow, I lucked out. How did I luck out? That's pretty good. It didn't twist up too bad on me. Let me just cut these ends. I'm cutting the ends fairly short, and that's extra twine I can use for later. And let me grab a mini glue dot, and I will get this put. I'm going to tuck that bow, I think. Let me see here. Where does that bow need to go? Yeah. I'm going to kind of roll up this mini glue dot, and I'm going to tuck that bow just above that little lotus flower, like that. Perfect. Except that I don't want my flower to get flat. There we go. I just lifted the flower up, the baker's twine got underneath of it. And then the last thing we need to do is add some gems, and of course I grabbed the unopened pack. So let me just cut this open real quick. I can get my scissors in there. All right, and I am going to, these are adhesive back dappled dots. These are so pretty. I'm going to hold them up. You can probably see it on the gray granite ones better, but they have little white flecks in them. These are the prettiest embellishments. I love these. And I'm just going to stick a couple of small ones here around my cattails, just like that. And one more. And I think maybe I'll put that one. Let's put it up here. There we go. That way we can see it nice and prominent. But that's the card. So super easy, you know, and pretty. It makes a nice note card. It would make a great friendship card, birthday card, whatever you might need. And so, which do you like? Do you like the flower petals down or up? I kind of like them up. I was like looking at this yesterday, and I'm like, oh, duh. I can't believe that he put the flower centers or the flowers upside down. But you like them up? Yeah, me too. Me too. I like them better. And I can easily recut these and pop these off. They're just on Stampin' Dimensionals. But anyway. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me today. I enjoyed making this card, and I really love this suite. It's really cute. I will see you all back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.